Welcome to the Android Headline Show, podcast number 5. Today on our show, we got lots of stuff to cover, lots of exciting stuff from the Motorola Droid Razr HD, Google updates to the Play Store, Nexus Q, RIM, Samsung, Apple lawsuit, and tons of other stuff. I'd like to welcome my special guests. Today we have Justin Diaz. Hello, Justin. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Mike Corbet. How you doing, Mike?
Hey. NASA!
And all the way from the Olympic Village in London, Tom Dawson doing our Olympic coverage. And as you can see, he's fresh out of bed, just awaiting to go head over to the volleyball court to report on all the latest happening on the volleyball nets in London at the Olympics. How you doing, Tom?
I'm alright.
Were you up partying a little late with the Olympic crowd last night?
Well, you know, we won quite a few athletic medals across the weekend, so you know, just thought I'd celebrate.
Oh, well, can you give us a latest medal count update midway through the show in case we missed something?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. Look forward to that. All right, guys, and as everyone at home knows, we talk a lot about Android news here. We gave you the good, the bad, the ugly of Android. We don't hold back. We tell you like it is. And, you know, uncut where, you know, language sometimes is not something we watch out for, so make sure to throw the children out of the room. Well, don't throw them out of the room. Exactly, that could be an issue. All right, enough of that. Let's get on to the show. We're going to talk today, right now, about the new Motorola Droid Razr HD. We've seen some pictures leak out in the past couple of weeks. As well, it also hit the FCC. And it's looking like it's going to be a not bad device. Have you guys had a chance to look at it at all? Who on the team has had a chance to look at it?
I've heard about it. We've still not really seen. I guess it's just pictures, right now?
Yeah, they're mostly leaked pictures that we're looking at right now. You know, just to give you an idea of what it's looking at for in terms of spec-wise, we're hoping that it's going to run 4.1 Jelly Bean, although we can't confirm that as of yet. But you know, it's going to be a 4.5 display running 720 HP HD with the color boost technology in it, the same as we've seen on the Atrix HD. And you know, hopefully it won't have a locked bootloader, but I don't know about that. The phone itself is not bad looking. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry?
I was going to say it shouldn't, because the Photon Q is coming with an unlocked bootloader, and you know that's one of the first Motorola phones they said that should be doing that, and I thought someone said that no other Motorola phones after this will be doing it. So, you know, being owned by Google, I think they're kind of like, okay.
Well, they've made a lot of promises, so until it comes out, I won't believe it. But we're looking at a Qualcomm 1.5 Snapdragon with an S4 in it. You know, which is going to be not bad power. There's a bit of discrepancy on the battery. Everyone kind of thinks that you're going to be seeing the 3300 milliamp battery in it, but from the FCC filing, it's looking like it could be more like a 2530. Yeah, that's a big jump.
So it feels like if you're going to release the Razr, the Razr Max and make that such a powerful thing, why not just put that in all your phones now?
That's definitely what it seems like going to be released is the 30, and it's not going to compete with the Razr Max in terms of battery life. I don't know. Is this more of a competition to the Razr than versus the Max itself with that type of battery life?
It's weird. I really don't know. I mean, I feel like depends on when it comes out. If it's in the next 6 months, it really won't be competition for the Max at all because Verizon will have moved on. But if it's in a month, then I don't know. Maybe not.
I think a lot of people are actually concerned too that with the lesser battery, that maybe they're holding back at potentially a Razr Max coming out afterwards with a bigger or same type of battery. You would figure they would at least put something that was comparable in it. What do you think of I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at it. What do you think of that Kevlar backing?
It looks like it was specially designed by some designer of handbags or shoes.
Exactly what I was thinking. It looks like a Jimmy Choo designed Kevlar backing.
The real question is, why do you know what Jimmy Choo is there, Chris?
You've got a wife.
I got a wife. I'm allowed to know these things. Louis Vuitton, all that stuff.
I don't have to spend my money on it. I know what it is.
I don't actually purchase those items for my wife. I get her the knockoff. Justin, I think you got the TV on the background. You able to shut the TV off?
Someone does.
I don't have any. I turned the volume down. So.
Oh, okay. We're just getting a feedback from somebody.
Feedback.
Someone's running some news in the background, or someone talking really loud. Anyways, so you guys, is this a type of phone? What do you think about it, Mike? What's your impressions? You're a Droid fan, so.
I don't know. I mean, I don't like to judge these Motorola phones until I see them, because the specs are either not right, or they're not finished, or they always just show us weird beta products. It just never. I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting, and please say it's so that we'll hit past, single core. Please say that we'll get past QHD. A 720p phone would be great for Motorola. Let's make that the standard in the rest of 2012 from Motorola.
I've kind of wondered why we didn't see this phone earlier. It was supposed to be released earlier in the spring, and it got really delayed. And I'm not too sure as why. Maybe it had something to do with the Galaxy S3. I don't know. It's not like it's a rock. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it could be like the story of the Bionic. I mean, the Bionic was supposed to be out in the spring of 2010 or 2011, whatever it was. It finally came out in the fall. It acted a lot better when it came out.
Yeah, but I'm seeing that they've already been down this road before with the Droid Bionic. You would think that they'd be able to have these issues worked out. But it is Verizon. We're not sure exactly why they do some of the things they do. Hopefully, we'll see the phone soon. I'm gonna say that we're gonna probably get a firm release date within the next few days. I would imagine. I think a safe bet would be that this is a back-to-school device launch.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, we'll see a lot more about it. We haven't heard a whole lot out of Motorola this year, other than their new Photon, and yes, so let's move on to our next story, guys. Our next story is Google Play Store updated for policies and better experience for users.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that Google decided that they were going to start restricting the names and icons, some that were similar to other existing apps, and as well provide more details on the kinds of, dangerous products that are not allowed in Google Play. Example, apps that disclose personal information without authorization. and as well give more examples of practices that violate spam policy, adding a new section that addresses ad behavior in apps. And, these are some pretty big deals because there have been a lot of people starting to, manipulate the Google Play Store and kind of their lack attitude that they had. And it's good to see them kind of crack down. What do you think on that, Tom?
It's about time. I mean, how often do you go to the Play Store and you search for something and you get bogged down by a whole load of crap that you didn't want? I mean, it happens every time you put a search in. I mean, not always. I mean, if the developer's got, an application with, a good name, a nice keyword like something unique, then you'll probably find that app. But, 9 times out of 10, there's probably about 3 or 4 apps for each one that's any good, and they all look the same and things like this. And also, if you go into live wallpapers, the live wallpapers section is full of just fun stuff that shouldn't really be there.
Well, I was tired of seeing knockoff Angry Birds apps in there. And for the most people who don't really, are not savvy, there's good chances that they could, end up downloading this stuff, thinking they're actually, downloading the real app. So some people are not as savvy, and and that's how we get malware going on in there. And you don't know, some of these apps are also as well, it's obviously to focus on privacy. Some of these apps, obviously could be pushing it and running spam. Though also as well, Google wanted to make sure that you are using Google's own payment system. So, they got you hooked up there. What do you think, Mike? Do you think that this is a little bit long overdue, that they should have had this before?
Yeah, when they started talking about the beginning of this at Google I/O, they kind of just briefly mentioned it on like day 1 or 2. They were like, yeah, better app store, next thing. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Well, that's really good. But I'd like to hear more about that. And
Yeah.
I guess they're finally detailing it now. I guess we haven't had a ton of problems, and I've never personally ran into anybody that's like, yeah, all my information and everything I ever owned was stolen, or seems like that, things like that. People are usually pretty smart. I tell everyone I know, if it's only got a star on the app, let's just not download it, huh? And usually they're pretty wise to agree with me. But yeah, this is just nice for those people that are downloading those ringtone apps and those Chinese, obviously Chinese apps, because sometimes they have a very English title, but then a lot of Chinese script in the body of the description. So
Or the English is bad and broken.
It'll be good. It'll be good to get rid of a lot of those, and even further the scanning of the viruses they've been doing, and because they've been building up over 2012 to build up to this point. I think that's great that we're finally there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some more control over the App Store is always a good thing. I mean, there's too much spam in there. It's kind of like starting to get a bit back, with the Wild West, with the type of permissions that people were pushing through, and not everyone downloading is really, knows what these permissions are for, and there's just some permissions on there that some apps don't need. And,
I'm glad to see them update the policies.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these policies should have been, and hopefully they're going to start to watch over some of these ads. When you get Angry Birds malware out there, and you have one of the, top quality, game, and, when someone wants to ride the back of that so they can, manipulate users, it's definitely time that they did something about it. So kudos for Google for pushing that out, and hopefully we even see it get a little more stricter. It can't be a bad thing. Now, I wanted to hit up on our next topic. This is one I know that Mike and Justin will be very dear to their heart, as they were at Google I/O this year. And they received Nexus Qs.
Yes, we did.
And it seems that
Woo!
not a whole lot of people actually bought the Nexus Q. From the stories going about the interwebs, there were not too many. Now, Tom, you covered the story on this. Well, what exactly is being said out there about the sales of the Nexus Q?
Well, first off, people were saying that like there was fewer than 1,000 of them sold, and then this got to like fewer than 900, and then like basically
It's going down every time you hear
so
about
basically
it.
only a few hundred got sold, pretty much. Now, no, I don't think I haven't heard any solid news on whether or not it's because they're struggling to produce them, or maybe they stopped because the sales were nowhere near that of the Nexus 7, or what. But you know, for $299, they're not going to do that well. I mean, it's a tiny little ball.
Yeah.
For $299, I mean.
Well, before we get to the Nexus Q fans here, I'll just have to throw a couple of shots in at it so they can defend it. When I saw the Nexus Q, I was like, what the fuck is that? Seriously, it looks like my dryer ball. I have one of those that I put in my dryer.
Yes.
And so, you know, but it looks good, and you know, and it's fancy, and, you know, it's got that, you know, I don't know, hip looking thing, you know, you could put it on your coffee table and people would talk about it because it lights up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was wondering, what the hell does it do? And supposedly, I guess, this is part of the problem on why they're not selling a lot, because it doesn't do a whole lot right now. You know, and the reason from what I'm hearing is they delayed the launch and everything like that and the sales because they want to improve on the software, improve its usability and functionality, and maybe drop the price, because I think $299, I don't know. You look at the ball, you look at a Nexus 7, I know where I want to spend my money. Anyways, let's hear from the Nexus Q fan crowd here. How about Justin? There we go. Justin.
Yeah, I'm excited. Two things.
Okay, two
yes,
things.
They did delay the launch. I did read that it was partially because of the fact that they wanted to improve upon the usability of the Q, that they're going to be updating some of the functions. Yeah, that's I'm agreeing. That's part of it. That's part of the reason.
Okay.
You know, so that's obviously they're going to make some improvements and some updates to it, so it'll change, you know, what you can do. Yeah, I agree. There's a little limited on what it does now. However, I use mine specifically for, you know, music and stuff when I'm either, you know, going to sleep or I'm getting into the Breaking Bad. For anybody out there that likes that show, which is great, ordered those off of Google Play, and I've been watching them all the way into season 2 now, so that's awesome. But just as a side note, any of the 300 people that maybe did order the Q, you know, now don't have to pay for it. So I don't know if you guys read that, but because of the delayed launch, if you did the pre-order, you now get it for free and you get your money back. Pretty damn
You
cool.
have the best looking coffee table ornament that you could ever get.
I gotta say, that's probably, I mean, the Q is probably one of the sexiest devices I've seen Google put out. It's a damn awesome looking thing. But if you don't want to wait for the functions to be improved upon and yours to show up in the mail, you can always go the route when you get it to, you know, hack it out. So if you're one of the people that went to I/O like me and Mike over here, you could always hack it. I'm sure that you know, as the weeks and months go by, there will be more root and hack options. You know, they're pretty choppy right now from what me and Mike have read, but
yeah,
you know,
every week we send each other a message saying, "Hey, what's the hackability like?" And both of us kind of review the articles we've read, and none of them are still exciting.
Yeah, they're getting slightly better. You know, it's happening slowly, but it is happening. It's progress. So, however, I really like mine. Maybe not everybody else is so psyched about the fact that it only does what it does. I agree that it's limited, but the fact that I just have something that I can stream something from my tablet is awesome, because I don't have to go rush out and try and find a damn HDMI cable that I can plug something into. And then if I'm not at my house that has HDMI TVs or monitors, I can still bring the Q and I can have, you know, Q plugged in using the banana jack cable. So I want to watch Breaking Bad on the TV or listen to music on the monitor or the TV, I can do that. I didn't have another easier option at the moment, and it's wireless, so I don't have to have my tablet or my phone plugged into the TV, which is across the damn room. You know, I mean, it's cool to have something that even if it only does that, to actually have something that I can do it over a Wi-Fi network. I like that function.
More.
I do too.
Some more. Like, I don't know. It just needs to do more before I'm going to shell out $2.99 for it.
That is true. I don't know what Nintendo game that was, Tom, but he has it by the end of the show.
Tom, did you want to interject? Was that your way of saying it's my time to talk?
Was that Contra?
No, it was. It was Contra, and it was
nice.
It was the one alarm that I haven't turned off.
Well, Mike, did you want to throw something in there? Because I know you're a huge
my two throw-ins is that I've got a couple of use cases of it. Still not.
You have use cases of Nexus Q?
Still not worth the $2.99. I'm going to say that right now.
Okay.
One of my use cases is my wife and I will be on computers, just kind of doing our own thing, whatever, and we want some background noise, but there's nothing on TV because it's 2 in the morning. Why not YouTube videos or music? So we kind of throw that on. I can just control it without really moving too much, which I guess makes me sound lazy, but it's the truth and it's what we do.
Hey, we all get tired of
that was a great selling point, Mike.
The other use case is a lot more interesting and fun. When me and my wife want to have Nerf dart gun wars, as we did today, and we just want a crazy music going on without having to get too close to the TV. Yeah, you just go ahead and use the Nerf dart guns and load up my Nexus 7 or my Q, or excuse me, my Nexus 7 or my Nexus S with some tunes. She can add some, I can add some, and then we just go to town shooting darts at each other.
So let me get this right. First is because there's infomercials on TV, it's very useful, and the second is because it works well with Nerf guns.
Yep.
Wow.
There's just something
I think we need to contact Google Marketing because I think they have a new campaign on the usability.
Yeah, Nerf and Google should partner together.
Totally.
That's for sure.
That'd be awesome.
No, I still use it quite often. I have a guest that I'm hoping to bring on for next week. Guest, if you're listening, please get back to me.
Don't make any promises.
And he is not pleased with his Q. In fact, he has a buyer that's maybe going to purchase it for $400. It only came like 2-3 days ago in the mail. He plugs it in.
Why couldn't he give him $400 for it?
$400.
I don't know.
Jesus,
I don't know.
Sounds like somebody getting ripped off. I don't want any guys who are going to be part of no Craigslist scams on this show, buddy.
No, that's not even it. The guy offered him $400. He was saying, what offers will you guys give me? It was a really funny thread.
Somebody's high on meth.
It must be. Either way, he may be on the show to talk about some stuff along those lines. We'll see what happens. Because he would definitely be another owner that's dissatisfied with it. Whereas
he's selling his, so I don't think he's very...
Justin and I are satisfied. I don't think he's very satisfied. I definitely hope that we see better software in the coming weeks, because if we don't see it in the coming weeks, we're going to have 7,000 owners of Qs who are just kind of like, so what exactly do I do with this?
Dude, it is the best-looking paperweight ever made.
Oh, yeah, or a doorstop, as The Verge mentioned.
Yeah, and it's the best use of LEDs ever, pretty much.
Really?
How many were there in there? 200 and something?
Yes, something stupid.
214 LEDs or something like that. I mean, it sure does look cool when it does its thing, when it's actually lighting up, or when you're listening to a song and you got the ambient pictures and images going in the background. And then you look down the queue, and it's kind of matching what it's playing on the TV, the imaging of the song. It's amusing.
See, that's why it's so expensive. You see, it's the LEDs. Actually, $50 of LEDs.
Yeah, definitely true.
Well, you guys totally want to run out and buy one right now.
Well, I mean, you can't right now unless you hit up the eBay, but Stored to the Play Store.
Sounds
soon.
like I could buy one for $400.
For $400.
Yeah. Well, one never
I'll
knows.
sell
I'm sure
you
there are
mine for
eBay.
500. It's a steal.
Awesome. Well, you know what? It sounds like these are going to be limited edition collectible items by the sounds of it anyways. These are going to be rare items that were only given out at Google I/O.
It could be one of those cases. It could be like, oh, well, let's... Remember how we said that Google TV and this are two different things? Yeah, we lied. They're the same thing. Never mind. They could end up putting that software on it. I'm actually looking forward to loading some Ouya software on there, the gaming console.
I think the Nexus Q is going to be a little quiet for a little while.
I
Other
guess
than the music it plays in your
stick to our
home
site.
during
We'll
late-
report on it, but not a lot. Don't expect a lot of news.
All right. Well, let's get on to our next story, because the Nexus Q is dead as it is right now.
Yeah.
So let's
In
just
its
leave it
current
dead
form.
for a while. Speaking of dead, RIM. Near-death situation for this company. You know, and I always like to talk about RIM. And I'll tell you why. You know, back maybe about a year or so ago, I was speaking with one of our Android writers and telling them how I figured that by the third quarter of 2012, and actually this was a year and a half ago, by the third quarter of 2012, that RIM was going to be in so much trouble that they were going to have to jump ship, do something, go to Android, sell the company off. And if I was a betting man, I'm thinking that I'm going to make some money. But, and it's looking that way, because I don't think we're going to see BlackBerry 10 anytime soon. They keep delaying this thing, and it's coming out, and you know what? They're just trying to catch up. You know, they might have some bells and whistles, some cool stuff in there, but they're at a loss when it comes to, you know, catching up to Android or Apple, or even possibly even Microsoft at this point.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what
the news. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know what the final app number was. Last time we checked on the BlackBerry marketplace, I know it wasn't very high, but I was going to say it could be the most beautiful, beautiful, amazing-looking phone with the just software that knocks us away. Something just amazing, works fluidly. We just can't believe it. We're in awe. We changed our name to BlackBerry Headlines because it's just so great. But the fact of the matter is it just isn't going to have the apps, and people are going to have a hard time moving over. I mean,
it's the new WebOS.
Purely amazing, but it just won't have the apps. So
no,
it is WebOS kind of.
So let me throw out what the news was this week on it. And the latest that before moving forward with BlackBerry 10, their next, you know, greatest thing to sliced bread, RIM strongly considered switching to Android. Wow, what a surprise!
Yeah.
You know, and they say this now, which is kind of funny because they're already on their way down the tank. And you know, they said they really did consider switching it over. But putting, you know, everything aside, they wanted to go. They didn't want to be like the other OEMs, and you know, and they felt like they couldn't compete with those other OEMs, and they wanted to focus on their BlackBerry message because that's the biggest thing that attracts people to BlackBerry in their minds, and is the reason why people will pick up their BlackBerry phone is because of BlackBerry Messenger. So they decided the best thing to do was go and, you know, go QNX and come up with their new operating system, BlackBerry 10. So they come out this week and they say that they were thinking about it, and you know, it just really it just throws more cast of doubt. Why even say this? Why? You know? I mean, why even go there? Like, I mean, you're trying to promote your new BlackBerry 10 software, and you know, you're saying how, you know, you thought about going to Android. That just shows, you know, the issues that are running in this company run so deep that they don't even know what the hell they're doing, to be honest with you. And in my opinion, would certainly love to see a BlackBerry 10 come to or a BlackBerry come to Android, but it doesn't make sense. We don't really need their poor-looking, shitty-ass QWERTY keyboard phones. You know, those things are so fucking ugly to begin with. We don't need them. You know, the only thing we want from them is maybe a BlackBerry Messenger app, you know, and then they can fuck off. In my eyes, we don't need them. You know what? Why else would we need anything from BlackBerry? You know, RIM. They have nothing to offer. Their corporate security, it can be duplicated, replicated.
Already has, kind of.
What do you guys think on this situation here with RIM?
No, it's just. I think it's fantastic watching the whole thing unfold. It's like every time that, you know, something gets set back with BlackBerry 10, someone stands up and says, "Oh, but you know, it's so good we didn't have to go to Android, and it's coming, and it's going to be so amazing," and then we don't see any of it, and it's never going to turn up, and when it does, it'll be pretty crap. I find the whole thing quite amusing, to be honest with you.
I don't know how they can continue to fight off their shareholders and stockholders with the delays that keep going and keep putting out subpar product. They're going to have to be delisted off of the stock exchange if they keep going at this rate. I mean, the only thing positive going for RIM is that they have a crap load of cash, but they're losing. You know, they're now losing cash. It's not like before they had bankrolls and they were making inroads in third world countries selling off the little Blackberries. That boat has stopped. It's no longer doing that. They're now bleeding money. They have about, you know, it is a lot of money, $2 billion cash, but I believe it was last quarter or something, or you know, don't quote me on the numbers because I'm not a stock market watcher, but it's something $450 million they bled last year. So you think about that, they don't have a lot of time left, and at the rate that they're going, their shareholders, stockholders are going to want results, and the results are going to be selling this company off, parting it out. Yeah. And it's looking like that's going to be a real viable option. You are going to see, more than likely, BlackBerry parted out or somebody taking them over before you see BlackBerry 10 in my eyes.
For
Mike,
sure.
what do you got to say about this?
The place where I work when I'm not working for Android Headlines, they used to be on a BlackBerry system, and no longer are they on a BlackBerry system. We run completely Android and Google Apps now. I guess we don't run Google Apps completely. So it's just kind of like, that's even further proof that in the company that I work that isn't very, I mean, they've got good IT guys, but the CEO isn't so super tech savvy. It's kind of like, all right, well,
Mike,
can't be.
Mike, careful what you say. They're probably watching now. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. Also, I am looking at the stock from, let's see, August.
Mike's interested in stock market now. All of a sudden,
yeah. Well, no, it's just that it was at $24 back then, in a year ago almost, and now we're at $6. So
check where they were 2 years ago. See the huge. It looks like a ski hill.
Yeah, it kind of does. If you guys want to go over to Google Finance and look up RIM, it does look like a fun little ski hill. Maybe somebody can make a Flash game out of that.
And I'm sad because they're a Canadian company, but they're in a mess. They're in a hell of a mess. Mm-hmm. Now, let's turn it over to Justin. Justin works in the mobile industry as well, besides Headlines. And, you know, maybe do you have some BlackBerry devices at that place where you work?
We have one. We have one BlackBerry device. One sole, lone, sad, lonely, shitty device.
This is a nationwide company that Justin happens to work for, without naming any names. That's, you know, all over the U.S. and his store has what?
One device. We used to sell the Torch. we used to sell a new updated Bold with the touch and the keyboard and the trackpad. Same with the Torch, by the way, but the slide-up keypad. We don't sell either of those anymore, and now we have one shitty, newer, crappier version of the original BlackBerry Curve. So just for the people that maybe came around to smartphones after the BlackBerry Curve was released years ago, that was a pretty sweet phone in my eyes. I liked my BlackBerry Curve when it came out. Android was nowhere to be found. iPhone at first was nowhere to be found. Still was, it was the bee's knees and shit at that time, and it was a solid phone. And what we have now is one crappy, newer version of the Curve that's thinner, feels real bad in your hand. It just feels like a piece of junk that maybe they would sell at Toys R Us. It's crappy. So
how are I know you probably can't get too much into detail, but how are the sales going on those devices?
We can go. I mean, as much detail as possible. I mean, I can pretty much say whatever. Sales suck on it. I don't push it at all. I mean, if somebody ever says a smartphone, do you have a keyboard? Yeah, I have this here, but I never go to the BlackBerry ever.
Oh my God, the poor BlackBerry.
It's not, it's not what I support, so I'm not gonna sell it. And there's a lot out there for other people for anybody that needs business stuff. I mean, there are so many other options for Android now that I can just about sell anybody. I mean, a Galaxy S3 or 1S, I mean, if they're like businessy people, they walk around with a briefcase and a suit and tie, and they go to work Johnny 9 to 5. I don't need to sell them a BlackBerry anymore. I mean, I just sell them a high-priced Android phone, and more not gets me accessory sales because they probably have the money to back it. I don't know.
Well, thank you for that.
BlackBerry.
I like to see competition. I hope BlackBerry survives and come up with a great new operating system that has tons of, awesome, innovative stuff, because I believe innovation pushes.
Absolutely. If they can come out with a solid touch device and a larger app store, I think they have a really great chance. That's the thing, is that people say constantly, and this is from the sales standpoint, in the stores where they sell smartphones, people say they don't care about apps, but that's a bullshit lie. That's all people want. They want apps. People like
sometimes I don't think people realize what apps are.
Yeah, that's what it breaks down to.
I don't care about apps.
I don't care about apps, but then I want to do this and this and this and this. Those are all apps.
Does it have Angry Birds and Gmail?
No, that's an app. If they can come out with a larger app store, and if they can come out with a really good touch phone that isn't the freaking Storm, that was awful, then they have a chance. But they need to fix those two things. They need an app store that actually has some clout behind it, fast.
You know who those people are that don't care about apps? Those are the people that go home and then someone shows them an Android phone and then they come back in and say, I want to buy an Android.
Yeah.
But they don't say, I made a stupid mistake by saying I didn't need any apps.
I want a Droid phone.
Yeah, exactly. I want a Droid.
Give me a Droid phone. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
The Droid?
I want to punch you in the face.
All right, enough beating on RIM. They get hit so much, and I'm sure we'll be slamming them some more in the coming months as they file for Chapter 11 at some point near soon.
I think they're barely hanging on the RIM. That's what I think.
Yeah, almost done. Okay, now for our main event of the show, we have the Samsung versus Apple. The Samsung lawsuit where Apple has decided that rectangles and patents are the most important thing and they should be sued because nobody should use a rectangle device. And, Apple owns rectangle devices. And I think it's time
for... It's a well-known fact.
Hey?
It's a well-known fact that Apple invented the rectangle.
Yes, and, I think it's time for us just to, dig into this a little bit more, talk about...
Oh, okay, I think we're gonna... All right. I don't know if we're allowed to use that or not, but I feel like we are.
This is the People's Court, now in session. Honorable Judge Chris Yakalik against Apple, and I have my assistant lawyers, Justin, Mike, and Tom. All the way from UK, we brought in some tough lawyers to help defend Samsung. Now, I think Justin decided to leave us. He was so embarrassed. Anyways, so just to give people a little bit of, what's been going on. Apple decided that rectangles are now, something that they own, along with the million other patents of swiping and talking on the phone and texting. No, I'm just kidding. Apple thinks that they own all phones. No one should be able to, do stuff the way that they do things. And in a realistic world, there are some patents that they do have that maybe Samsung should pay for. And, and Apple, they have some patents that they probably owe Samsung some bucks on.
Yeah.
It's just some of them are, just crazy and totally, off the wall. Some days I just shake my head and don't even have words for it anymore. Tom, you probably had a good chance to dig into this quite deep this past week because that's all we were reading about. What are your views and takes on how this court proceedings are going?
Well, I think the whole thing's it's just becoming one kind of big farce. I don't think it's a trial anymore. I think it's more of a show of who can. What it comes down to now is a couple of kids on a playground, and one saying, "Oh, my dad'll beat your dad up," and no, my dad'll beat your up, and I think that's what it's come down to because Apple want $2.525 billion worth of damages. Yeah,
let me write a check for that right away.
Yeah, but then obviously Samsung got into some hot water earlier on in the week because they released the F700 images to the press, which they weren't allowed to release. But the thing is that they had asked Judge Koh, and she even admitted this in court. She said, you've asked 10 times to have this evidence put forward, and why are you still asking? So then, the head guy from, the head lawyer from Samsung authorized it to get, sent out to the press. And then when Apple got wind of it, Apple basically said, all right, well, because Samsung messed around, you should throw the trial out and call us the winners. They straight up just said, yeah,
you won.
Straight up.
Woo-hoo, go home, everybody.
Straight up, throw the case out, and we win, and that's it. We'll leave. We'll not bother you again. I mean, it's just the whole thing is just. I think there's a little bit of a history lesson. If you have a look at the original iPhone from January 2007, and then take a look at Samsung phones afterwards. Samsung definitely changed their direction. But
yeah, there's no doubt that there's some copying in there a little bit. I'll be the first to admit that I think iWiz there is a total bang off of iOS.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. In terms of phone wise, here let's see. Here's does that look like an iPhone to anybody?
No, that's PS3.
Not really.
Okay.
Screen's much bigger.
Yeah. Okay. But you know what? And they showed some pictures up of how close they look to the iPhone. But 90% of the smartphones look very similar. And you didn't see Acer getting sued. Acer or LG or any of those other ones that back in the day when the iPhone 4 was out and Android was coming out, there were a lot of phones, even some Motorola ones, they had the round button on them and a little bit of an iPhone-ish look to them when they first came out. more than so than they are today. You don't see those guys getting sued.
No, and the main reason for that is just because Samsung are the number 2 dog in smartphones. So it's natural that the number 1 dog is going to try and take away that competition, because Samsung have basically eaten HTC's share of the market, and I think next they're going to try and take over Apple. Obviously, you're not going to run past Apple, but they are Apple's biggest competition, and that's, I think, obviously there's a case for, the Samsung Galaxy S, the original, did smack of the iPhone heavily, but at the end of the day, I don't think it comes down to the fact that Samsung copied Apple's designs. I think that's their excuse to go after their biggest competitor and drag them through the mud. I think that's the be-all and end-all, is because they know that they can't, because of the way that they run iOS and the way they run the iPhone year in, year out, that they can't make as much change or be as innovative as they can with Android.
Yeah.
Well, I have to agree. I think Tom just cut out there for a minute. He's totally got like an awesome freezing pose capability. Oh, he's back now. Mike, what do you think on this?
Well, I
want to hear everyone's opinion on it.
As the phone reviewer, I used to get, in the end of 2011, beginning of 2012, I'd take it out places, my cousins, to work, different things like that. And even though they fully knew I was an Android reviewer and I wrote for an Android site and I wore the T-shirt for our site, I would still sometimes get, oh, what iPhone is that? And I just had to laugh. It was like, guys, I mean, the shirt, the site I write for, you know this. We talk about this every week. That's not the case anymore. The words I'm hearing a lot now is, ooh, is that the new Galaxy? Is that a Galaxy? Is that a new Galaxy? That's what I'm hearing a lot of now. And it's not because they know how I review phones still. People still just, are oblivious to the fact.
I think, when you look at a lot of this lawsuit, it's a lot of talking about the past. There's a lot of, old iPhone, new iPhone, and I mean the old iPhone and the old Samsung Galaxy S3. There's a lot of, it's a big pissing match about that. These really broad patents that they're talking about, they don't even really seem to be, I don't know if they haven't got to that part of the lawsuit yet, or case, but it's more about, you stole mine, no, you stole ours and everything. It's a big pissing match is what it's become. And both of them are making outlandish and foolish statements,
Yeah.
Not of course I'll, be at Samsung's corner because, we've seen, Apple's kind of foolishness. But as well, what was it, the Space Odyssey 2000 reference that Samsung was making this week?
Well, I mean,
Tom, did you hear about that?
Yeah, vaguely, but I wanted to...
Semi-valid point.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of wondering, what kind of lawyer did Samsung hire exactly? $800 an hour? They're paying him, and that's one of the best things he had to say.
Plus,
wow, I could do it a lot cheaper. Call me, Samsung.
Not only is it one of the better things they had to say, but the judge says they can't use that either.
Jesus,
basically, for
Samsung can't use important evidence like that in the case. Holy shit.
For those who are lost on this one, basically back, when the movie Space Odyssey 2001 was made, they had a tablet that actually looks an awful lot like an iPad. It was just a square-ish tablet, and they put it on. They didn't even hardly use it from what it sounds like. I haven't actually watched the film, but sorry, Stanley Kubrick. But basically they put it on the desk a few times. Yeah, I'm sure he's watching right now if he's even alive. Anyway, but yeah. So basically, it was not kind of a non-issue, something that a couple blogs got riled up on.
But why even go there though? Realistically,
they were trying to invalidate the patents that Apple had gotten on it.
Yeah, they were trying to, take out, provide prior
And the
art,
Space Odyssey movie had the patent first.
Not that they had the patent first, just that they used it prior to Apple patenting it, so that makes their patent invalid.
Well, we all know that there were
But
iPad, tablet-ish type of devices around before iPad also.
Star Trek used a lot of them too.
There we go. Case solved.
But hopefully Patrick.
Justin, you want to throw 2 cents in here before I go into some cross-examination here?
I haven't read a whole lot on the issue with the patents. I've read bits and pieces here. I did read pretty much the article link that you had posted up.
Wow,
I got to see the photos. One thing I think is pretty bogus is I was reading that Apple apparently tampered with like the photo evidence or something, showing like the aspect ratios being the same as the iPad, and they even removed the logo, photoshopped it out, and turned it up to horizontal. Not horizontal, but vertical. So they put it in portrait mode. See, oh, look how close it looks. Here's Samsung's menu. Here's the iPad. Here's how similar it is. Even though it's like, really. I mean, you gotta cheat to win. I mean, come on. I thought that was bogus.
Now they're worried about that Samsung, that stole all these sales from Apple, and their multi-billion-dollar sales. They sold them, that they stole the sales from them. They were worried that people came into the stores and they walked out with a Samsung tablet instead of an iPad. They were worried that, this is what was happening, and they didn't know how to compete with it because it was so close and a knockoff, of the iPad. And I just wonder, can anyone tell the difference which is an iPad?
Yeah, you see the iPad's round button on the bottom. To me, that's what makes it distinct.
Also, when I walk into a Apple store, I don't
technically,
walk
this
out
is
with
how this
Samsung.
tablet works, and this is how this one works, right?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
flip the backs there for a second, too. I mean, that kind of...
I think there's I have a shitty case on this iPad that I've probably borrowed or something. But seriously, if you can't tell the difference between them,
you should be buying a
should you
tablet.
be buying electronics
in an electronics store? If you can't tell the difference between a tablet or a smartphone and a corded home phone, get the hell out of Best Buy. Don't take anything.
On the other grounds, you shouldn't. If you think you've been ripped off, shouldn't you take it back to the store?
Yeah, I'm sure they have a return policy. I mean, nobody's ever heard of a refund.
Well, there was some news that came out. Apparently, Best Buy was saying that people went in to buy an iPad. Went in to buy an iPad and walked out with a Samsung.
Maybe
but then again, the
because it was
people
better.
that shop at Best Buy.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
Yeah, but there was some news that people were returning Galaxy tabs to Best Buy because they thought they were getting iPads. But if you think you're getting iPads, then you really shouldn't be buying one.
I've been to every Best Buy I've been to. All the Apple stuff has got its own section. It's got its own setup away from everything else.
it's not
I
like
thought it's like over here.
Apple
It's
Walmart.
It's not easy to fuck up. I mean,
it's not like the packaging is the same either. Okay.
It's not. And there's a
I'll
big
go-
apple on one, and there's not on
Yes.
the other. I mean, come on.
I mean,
And then there's just
Not-
like this tag next to it that tells you what you're getting.
Exactly. It's like saying, well, should I go, hey, I walked into Best Buy thinking I could buy this gallon of milk, and then I walked out with a set of Beats headphones, but you know what? I can't pour it into a glass and drink it. I need to go return these and get some milk. No, you know the difference. I mean, obviously this isn't a grocery store.
I ended up with this one because I thought this one looked the same.
Well, I think this is also kind of proof that the Mac stores don't work so well, and maybe they're getting more of their sales from Best Buy and Walmart and such. If we're truly seeing people not going to Mac stores or getting confused, because obviously they don't sell Samsung tablets at Mac stores.
Exactly. Now, I think that this lawsuit should be dropped because I don't think that the two of them look like each other at all. I think that there should be a new lawsuit because I found a device that looks exactly like it.
The touchpad?
You see that? Can you see that? HP, sue HP. Look at that. Now, does that not look more like a freaking iPad?
Well, I don't know.
The logo is different.
It's even in the same place, though, ironically.
It is. It's in the exact same
It is,
place.
yeah. And also, the aspect ratio is exactly the same, 4:3.
9.6, 4.3.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
slightly blind and you're really
res.
old, you could tell no difference. You might accidentally buy the touchpad over the iPad because
Exactly. So they should
And
be
it's
suing
the
HP. Not
Yeah, but you know why they didn't sue HP?
because they stopped.
Because the touchpad
making
died
the
before it got beginning.
Because the thing
Because
sucked
they
because
weren't
it was
making
running
money.
WebOS, and they knew it was dead before they put it out.
I think it was
Well,
the
fire
French.
sale.
I think it was the friendly relationship the two companies had.
Yeah, that they sold them all the parts for the iPad.
Well, no, the CEO at the time of the touchpad was the designer of the MacBook, I want to say, or like no, the internal parts of the MacBook.
John Rubinstein.
Yeah, John Rubinstein.
Yeah,
He
John
was
Rubinstein.
a very big Apple. He was
Yeah,
very big in Apple succeeded.
he was the father of the. He was the father of the iPod. He was the man that found
Okay.
the hard drive that would fit inside the iPod.
Oh yeah.
Which then made Apple.
The
cool
CEO of
for kids.
HP basically, got the iPod off the ground. And so I kind of think they were giving him a little leniency, but obviously they really didn't need to, as the fire sale, and HP doesn't even do phones right now, and
Or they never will again.
yeah, likely.
Well, I'm sure this is going to be an exciting week of more Apple Samsung lawsuit, and we'll have a whole bunch more fun things to bash them on come next week. I'm sure people are getting sick of it, but in hindsight, it is an important lawsuit that's taking place, because if somebody messes up, and more than likely it'll probably be the judge, there's some serious ramifications that could come out of this, that could affect Android and could affect Samsung and the product lines in the future. And probably the losers in this situation are going to be the consumers, and it just sucks that it comes to this, but makes me sad.
Yep.
Let's move on to much happier times, and we're going to turn the show over to Droid Mike, and he wanted to talk about a few things. First off, I think, was a touchpad something.
Yeah, let's segue right into that. Speaking of touchpad, Tom can definitely help me on this one. Chris, you probably not so much because you've spoken on how you barely even use it anymore. But I kind of feel like
this thing out the window now. I'm done with my prop.
The HP touchpad, I kind of feel like, is the HTC HD2 of the tablet world. Now, if you don't know much about the HTC HD2, basically that phone has had every operating system ported to it that you can imagine. Every version of Android from 2.0 on. And I'm sure they've backported since then to 1.6 and such. It's got Windows 6.5 running on it at launch. It's got a Windows 7 ROM running on it currently. People have got that going on it. It's had Ubuntu running on it. It's got, I think it's got a couple other small Linux-based operating systems running on it.
Yeah, I think someone got Arch on it, I think.
Yeah, Arch Linux, yeah. So, it's also this, that, and the other. The touchpad kind of is doing the same thing, though. It's got Linux running on it. It's got Arch Linux. It's got Ubuntu. It's got Android, every version of Android since 4.0, I guess. That's when it was released.
And it had a gingerbread build because HP sent them out.
That's right.
With that
started
build of
running
2.2.
gingerbread on it. 2.35, I think, is what I ran on it first. Mod 7, I believe that was. And it can be dual booted with Android, Linux, and HP software on it. It's just one of those things that's kind of amazing to see And if you've got a device, especially if you bought it during the fire sale, it's kind of one of those really cool things. There's even rumors that if somebody can get Windows running on it, we may see Windows 8 running on the touchpad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
I love my touchpad. It's great.
Yeah.
It's on my desk right now in the dock. I love it. And now there's Mike's going to tell you about Jelly Bean.
Yeah. So basically, it's gone even further into
The
that.
thing just won't fucking die, will it?
Yeah. It's got Jelly Bean running on it, which is better than, I don't know, 90% of all Android tablets out there right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
A lot of them have lockdown bootloaders, this, that, or the other.
Or honeycomb, God forbid.
Yeah, I mean, 7-inch tablet. This thing could have been great. Still runs freaking honeycomb.
Sweet honeycomb.
This is a heavy, thick ZTE optic tablet that I need.
That's a great tablet. Not.
Yeah, there we go. There's the good Jelly Bean running tablet, and now there are two of them. One of them should be made by Apple. So if you are wanting to, run Jelly Bean, and if you can find somebody on Craigslist, that's definitely a way to do it. Might I warn, don't go asking me a lot, because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot not working on it right now.
Yeah.
But, without that,
does it turn on, Mike? Does
it definitely turns on. It's got
no camera, no
everything.
browser, no Wi-Fi, no.
I think Wi-Fi finally
One of
works.
those hacked versions.
Wi-Fi works quite well.
A fellow on Twitter that's very familiar with HP Touchpad, and he's got Wi-Fi working. I don't believe audio or the microphone or the camera work, which is always an issue because
or hardware acceleration.
Yeah, hardware acceleration. So you're not going to get speed like you want, but it's only going to be another week, I'm sure, by next week.
As long as you don't mind just surfing the internet on it, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, by next week, I'm sure we'll be reporting the half those issues have been fixed, and the HD2 of tablets will be, chugging along even further.
Awesome stuff, Mike. Now, your next topic is you wanted to hit up Chameleon, give us a little update on it. Yeah,
so for those of you who are, I guess you'll already know this news, but for those of you who maybe are in the dark but decided to support Chameleon, it's a tablet launcher. Supposedly they got enough money that it will be a phone launcher as well. But basically, it's kind of got the cool features that it's kind of got like a smart actions type thing to it without having to set them up. You set up basically screens, and based on Wi-Fi location and time of day, it will launch certain screens for you. So, when you wake up in the morning and you're at home, it knows you're at home, it uses your Wi-Fi, and it knows that it's 7 a.m. That means the AM news feed should jump up, and you can wake up, see what the weather's going to be like all day, see what the news is going on right now, things like that.
The best part of it, Mike, is it looks fucking good. It's
it
sweet,
really looks amazing.
Eye candy.
No, it's really beautiful. It's kind of like people were saying, oh, Google should buy these guys. This is what Android should look like, and it really does look good. I wouldn't be reporting on it otherwise.
So what's the deal with the beta, Mike? Just so
it's
people
pretty
know.
much for those who backed Chameleon on Kickstarter. So if you did not back them on Kickstarter, well, I will hopefully have a build mid next week.
I'll send them $5.
And I'll definitely hit up YouTube, so check our YouTube channel. I will soon have a build. Keep an eye on that, and then next week, hopefully, we'll get a build of that one and show you guys live on the podcast.
And
it's very cool. It's very interesting, and I think they said September, I want to say. They were going live for everybody, so.
Sometime next month, I think, is what I read, yeah.
Yeah, September-ish.
And you also had an update about who was it? Ouya?
To go with the next Kickstarter, we're all about Kickstarter lately. Ouya has a Android-based gaming console. They've only got 70 so hours to go. Let's see, actually. I got an update. They've got 70 hours to go, so a little under, 3 days? 4 days? 3 days. Little under 3 days to go on their Kickstarter. If you want to get in on that, they've got a lot of cool rewards and stuff going on. You can still get a console if you pledge $99. It's reserved for you, but basically what it is it's an Android-based console. A lot of sites I've heard covering this are going, oh great, so I can play Fruit Ninja off my television with a nifty controller. No, that's not really the case.
Tom is very happy about this. He is Fruit Ninja mad.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw
He's buying Ouya right now.
He's just pumped
that
this guy.
Sold him.
Yes.
He totally gained. $99 on the way to Kickstarter.
Tom, might I just tell you now too? Angry Birds also available. That's not all it does though. There will also be. They're trying. From what I understand, they're actually trying to get with different developers, and they have plans to use things like Call of Duty. All those type of games will definitely be on the console.
All of them? That sounds a little general, Mike.
Well, I mean, we're hoping Call of Duty. Anything that comes Xbox or PS3, they're hoping will be on Ouya because they're not hard to port. Plus, this is an open source console, so it's not hard.
The chances we're going to see all the indie games on there is what you're telling us?
Indie games are definitely going to be on there.
They got Square Enix on board already.
Yeah, Square Enix is making the company that makes Final Fantasy games.
Somebody got some tapping issues going on there. Justin, are you getting really excited about?
They're checking to make sure that this is real or not. Check 1 2. Is this real? Check.
I'm extremely excited. I was messing with the rubber stopper thing on my laptop. That's what I was doing.
Stop.
You were the annoying one. All right.
I'm excited about it.
Too?
I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I think, especially if for $99, if it does all these games, and if I can run Netflix and maybe the new XBMC port for Android on that, $99 that's all I like.
In it. Throw that too.
Yeah, I mean, it could run Google TV. Somebody would just have to port the software.
$99, you buy like 2 or 3 of them for that much. But buy 3, and then don't buy an Nexus Cube.
Duct tape them together.
Yes. Make a
use one as an amplifier.
A real multimedia center.
Make a cluster.
I think Google should just buy Ouya.
A lot of people have actually said that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I don't know if it makes much sense, to be honest.
Justin, Gamer Talk with Justin. What's going on with Black Ops Zombies? What's happening?
The Black Ops Zombies. Well, I was very excited for this to come out to Android. Even Tom
it didn't come out to Android, did it? It came out to Sony Ericsson phones, which kind of run Android.
I mean, it's on the Play Store. It's finally on the Play Store. Finally, right? Wrong, because like Chris said, it's only on Xperia devices.
Who the hell owns a fucking Sony phone anyways? Nobody I know.
Well, I'll tell you who fucking owns one, Chris. You're right, nobody. I just looked on the Play Store and there are 500 downloads. The game's been out for 48 hours, and it's got 500 downloads.
That's Call of Duty, and it's got less than 1,000 downloads. That's fantastic.
It's awful. I mean, there were more sales of the actual game on launch night within 30 minutes. It's retarded.
Yeah. I mean, are Activision just like?
Sounds like they almost paid enough money to cover the press releases for that game.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, Sony must have paid some amount of money for exclusivity, I'm sure, to maybe push their sales. And also they paired with Glue. Glue makes the game for Android for some reason.
Somebody's sniffing some glue on that.
That's what I'm saying. They handed over the rights to Glue Mobile, but Glue Mobile's games are awful for one, and they ad spam you like crazy. It's ridiculous. So, but enough bashing the game. The game's gonna be cool when everybody gets it.
Well, that's the good part. At least it's going to be a cool game. It's not available on Android. It's available on Sony, which are mid-grade phones, which no one who watches this show actually owns, so we can bash them all they want.
What's really funny about that is Justin messaged me about the Black Ops game coming to the Play Store. So then I informed him of my upgrade to the One X that I got, so I can play games. And then he tells me I can't play it when my nice new phone turns up, which I thought was fantastic because I could have upgraded to an Xperia S. So
Dude, we would
clearly I made the
never
wrong
let that
choice.
happen anyways.
Well, I mean, Xperia phones are pretty big in the UK, so
The Ion looks pretty cool.
they're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, they look good, and they market them really well. But compare them to the North American phones or any of the high-end Android phones, and those things don't hold a wind to the candle. Anyways,
I mean, I could have.
Well, I'm sorry. You could finish off your sentence. I was just saying enough about fucking Sony.
I was going to join in on your hate of Sony because when I did my upgrade for the same price as the One X, I could have had the Xperia S. And it's like, who's gonna choose between those two phones? That is just ridiculous. I mean,
the people who don't know anything about smartphones and the sales guys who get big commissions for pushing Sony phones.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
Justin, back to you. Let's throw a couple more digs in. Dead Trigger goes free on iOS this week. I guess that's because of the piracy on iOS.
You know, I'm gonna say that's it's kind of you know I don't use an iOS device, but I'm all for it. You know, if it stops the piracy, I really like Madfinger. I support them.
Or is it because
I paid for every single one of their games, so
they don't have piracy on iOS.
Or
that's what they say. Just like there's no viruses. Yeah, there's no viruses. There's no piracy.
Yes.
There's limits though, because you have to be jailbroken to pirate your phone. That's not possible like on Android.
But did they change on iOS because they went to in-app purchases? So is that why they changed it over, possibly?
Probably. Maybe they wanted to. You know, slow the roll of pissed off people on iOS as well to pay for the game, just kind of like they did with people. I don't know. Maybe over here.
Speaking of which, where's our special gift for purchasing the game?
That's supposed to come out here in the next couple weeks. What I read. It should be coming soon. They said this month. So, you know, as with they said that also about the launch of the game itself. They said it'll be coming this month, and then they said by the end of the month, and then it literally came out like I think the 31st of June. I mean, we were at I/O when it came out, Mike. I mean, it came out like the last day that we were there. I mean,
they're going to give you like a free knife or a gun or something in the game. There,
it's supposed to be like level content, I think. So there'll be like a new map and maybe some new weapons that we get.
Did you say adult content, like nude women or something?
Nude zombies. That's what I want to see.
Oh yeah. That's gonna trigger guys for the game.
Gross.
What's coming up in games? What do we got coming out soon, Justin? Anything exciting?
Yeah, there's a couple new games coming out. They're gonna be pretty cool. We got the new Real Racing 3, you know, by EA coming out. That looks awesome. You know, I'm a huge Forza fan, so for me, I haven't played a racing game on Android in a while because it's been hard for me to get to.
Did you play Real Racing 2?
I checked it out on some of the phones that my work actually.
Graphics.
It's pretty decent. I played it on the Galaxy Tab at work. You know, I haven't played it since then. But Real Racing 3 looks impressive, and you know, I played the shit out of Forza 3 when it came out. So for me, it's kind of like that. That's what I'm equating the game to, but I can actually take the game with me, and you know, I can play it on the go. The graphics are very impressive. They're lifelike. You know, I jaw dropped when I saw the video. I'm not gonna lie, and that's pre-alpha, so I can only imagine what it's gonna be like come Christmas time when it's probably gonna be released. So I'm excited over that. On to the more exciting game that I think that releases this month is Horn by Phosphor Games, which is really cool looking. We got to see a demo of this playing, I think, demo video at I/O. Briefly, they showed some stuff running. Looks awesome. It's going to be kind of a little bit, people are maybe comparing it to Infinity Blade a little bit, so anybody out there that's watching this that's played Infinity Blade, cool game. Never probably going to make it to Android, but this is leagues ahead of it. You know, it's got a little bit of, I think, Fable kind of gameplay mixed in, a little bit of Zelda-style gameplay mixed in. Graphics are fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to use gesture swiping for attacks and things like that, but it's going to have really, really, really good graphics, impressive stuff, taking advantage of the Tegra 3, and should give us some really good in-depth storyline type gameplay. So it's just something to keep you engaged and probably a lot of, for me, a lot of hours of gameplay, which actually...
Head back to the Google I.O. video if you guys want to see this. I believe it was day 1, but they showed him, you know, swinging on a vine type thing and jumping somewhere and kind of looking around. Then it came down to it. Oh, there's the video there. And well, I mean, it wasn't really a lot. There was like 10 seconds maybe, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some beast started coming off over the edge, and they go, "Oh, we can't show you too much though," and then kind of cut it off.
It's awesome looking. It comes out this month, so hopefully it'll be out sooner than later. But
yeah, no, August 31st.
Yeah, right.
And hopefully we won't have to pay Final Fantasy III $18 prices.
Yeah.
I'm hoping not. That's, you know, I mean, I paid it because I am a huge fan and I played those games growing up.
I don't know how they could rape somebody for $18 for the game.
16. It was $15.99.
Because they're a
let's not split hairs.
They're a console company.
Yeah,
and,
they can, and they know that people will buy their games.
Will pay that kind of price.
That's scary. I understand I'm not a huge mobile gamer, so I'll take your guys' word at it that maybe you think it's worth it and stuff. And I mean, the prices of those games are you know, justifiable because of PC games, you know, how much they can run console games as well. So for a mobile game, you know, maybe not as in-depth as those, but definitely the prices are bargaining compared. But I was surprised that's the most expensive game that.
Oh, for sure, it's one of the most.
Yeah, $16 is pretty high price. So I think really what they were trying to do with it, I think, was just trying to, you know, cater to or tailor to the market. They know people play those games already. People that grew up playing them, or, you know, people that have already played a copy of it in the past. It's really more of a niche thing. I mean, I don't know how many downloads there have been on. I know it's popular and it's up towards the top of the list on the paid apps page, but it's a really, really good game.
And they're probably the richest developer because they're charging 4 times the amount of the other developer.
Yeah, well, that too, you know.
So, so most games to beat, also, I'm just looking now, most games to beat, I don't know, what, 5-6 hours tops, right? On the Play Store right now? This game's a 60-hour game.
Wow.
A lot of game time,
You definitely get some content.
Was 8-bit, so I mean, if you look at the old one was on Super Nintendo, so it was or Nintendo, I think, actually. So it was completely different retro style graphics, a lot of content, a lot of storylines, so in depth, you really get engaged and everything like that. But this is completely redone in 3D. It's awesome compared to the old one. You know, and just like we were talking about Ouya just a minute ago. And Square Enix backing that console, they're bringing Final Fantasy III to the Ouya, and it's going to be even more redone with HD visuals. So they're going to better the Android version of what it is now and make it look even more HD and get better graphics. It's going to be pretty damn cool. So I'm excited for that.
60 hours of entertainment, I guess it's worth it if you break it down, considering I finished Angry Birds in 10 minutes.
Yep. I mean, I play a lot of games on my mobile. So I mean, compared to you, Chris, I play a lot of games on the phone and the tablet. A lot.
I don't
a lot of downtime at work, and that kind of stuff is worth it to me. You know.
Yeah, let's not say that. That just doesn't sound great.
A lot of boring games that last, like you said, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They're not worth it for me to spend a couple bucks and it's over in a couple hours. So
yeah.
Furthermore. I don't know if anybody out there read my review on Total Recall.
Oh yeah, I want to hear
this.
But
do not waste your time. If you really feel like you need something,
tell them what you wrote a story on it, and I actually assigned this to Justin. I said, let's do a game of the week or check out that new Total Recall, because you know, you figure new movie, you know, game coming out, it's going to have some good graphics.
But the game is awful. So I paid for it. It was only $1. You know, so had I ended up keeping it, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. But I don't feel like they deserve my dollar. It was so I refunded
Jesus,
it.
what do you expect for $1 these days?
Well, Jesus Christ! I mean, Angry Birds is free and it's a much better game. Let's put it that way. It was bad. I refunded the game with. I mean, I downloaded it. It installed within a couple minutes, so I still had about 12, 13 minutes left. You know, on the refund window, and I played it for 3 to 5 minutes, and I said if it's not engaging enough in this amount of time,
so you
refund.
did a thorough review then.
I played it enough. I played it enough. I'm telling you, it's bad. Okay, think about like Time Crisis back on the PlayStation or those arcades. That's what it looks like. It moves for you, and then it moves when you're supposed to aim at somebody. So your only control is literally when you have to move the cursor a little bit or the crosshair onto somebody's head as opposed to like their shoulder.
I guess that's how you avoid touch gaming, huh?
It's fucking terrible. And the graphics are not HD. And I mean, I don't know. I read about it. I read the reviews, and I don't know who it was that I read the topic on when I was writing my story. But it was they were really pining for the game. It looks like they were just all for it, gung ho. And it was like HD and the graphics are great. And I'm like, no, these suck. I mean, they're terrible.
So this is a glowing review that everyone should download Total Recall and play it.
Yeah.
Everybody should avoid playing it.
To end on a more positive note, I hope. Did you by chance play the Spider-Man game?
I have not played the Spider-Man game. I played the Dark Knight Rises game.
Mike, you're getting spoilers.
I played the Dark Knight Rises game. But,
so I'll play that game more next week.
We can talk about that.
Maybe I'll get you a copy.
Let's talk about Dark Knight Rises. That's a more popular note, and that's positive. So I'm not. I just want to I want to say one thing is that I'm not as impressed with the graphics on some of the stuff in the game as I thought I would be, but mainly it's a couple of the different character models inside the game. Batman, however, looks awesome. They did really a lot of work on that. He looks great. A lot of like surrounding areas and I guess just the backgrounds of the game. The levels themselves look great. So the visuals are awesome. The gameplay seems really cool. So if anybody out there's played like Arkham City or Arkham Asylum, it's kind of like that style of gameplay, but with touch and not as many types of little like mini type games and things like that inside of it. But it's pretty cool. It's definitely, I think, worth picking up and checking out. Spider-Man, if it's anything like that, then I'll say maybe next week when we get to it.
I think
also
next
worth
week.
checking out.
No, for
Good
sure.
deal. Good tour next week.
Yes, check out the Dark Knight Rises. Good game.
I got to give away some cases, guys. Cruiser Light, awesome company, cruiserlight.com, and they have some cases for us to give away for some Galaxy 3 S3 owners, Note, and what else we got here, and a 1XL. These are the cases here, top quality cases, very sturdy, and nice little Andy on the back, come in tons of different colors. They have like way many crazy designs at their site too, some really awesome looking ones. And I'm going to spoil, I hear that a new tablet that came out a little while ago, they may have some cases for that coming very soon, and those are going to look pretty hot. Probably going to get my ass kicked for spilling those beans. Don't tell me a secret because I can't keep it. Anyways, if you guys want to win one, we got shitloads to give away here. Email us at androidheadlines@gmail.com. We're going to take the 1,117th email will be the winner. No, just kidding. Just email us. We'll pick some random winners. That's how it works with us. We don't want to make you work too hard because we don't. Just kidding.
We work very hard.
Tom messaged me and he had to go meet up with the women's volleyball team because they were just getting ready to go on court. You know, he's in London covering the Olympics. So that's why he just vanished all of a sudden. I'd vanish for chicks playing volleyball too. Anyways, so if anybody's got anything else they'd like to add, I think we're finished up. Justin, Tom,
Mike,
Tom,
maybe.
Tom, I can't hear you.
Hello, Tom.
Volleyball.
I just wanted to say I should have a review unit for some cases for said tablet as well. It was
Ooh,
released
nice.
not too long ago, right around Google I/O. These are high-quality cases. They're not like your Amazon third parties out there. So
Awesome.
I should have one
the
at
official
least.
Asus ones?
No,
No?
they're
Okay.
quite a bit better. They're really, really high-quality cases.
Oh,
So
we're talking like...
I'm not.
like
I'm not.
Nintendo?
I'm
You
not
can't
gonna
go
spoil
there. We
anything
have to
right
wait.
now.
Bring it as a surprise.
We're not going to spoil anything. We're just going to leave it a surprise. Plus, I don't know if I should be getting them this week, but I don't know for sure.
Let me know. Let me know how that works out.
Oh, yeah, I should get one tomorrow, and I'll let you know for sure. But the fans will be able to check that out, and I'll do a full glowing and beaming review on YouTube, our site, and then on the podcast as well.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks a lot, guys, for tonight, and have a good week. And for our viewers out there, check out our site, androidheadlines.com. Get all your latest news, rumors, reviews, apps, everything. androidheadlines.com. In the meantime and in between time, that's it. Check you next week.
Bye.
Let it go.